Russ Niles reporting for AvBrief. That's my beautiful Cessna 140 in the background, and it, believe it or not, has ADS-B installed. It has a uAvionix tail beacon X, which means it can see ADS-B signals from above and below, which is necessary for Canada. But anyhow, uAvionix is a very innovative company that comes up with solutions when problems are identified. And a problem was identified by EAA a few days ago that got a lot of traction on our site, and it was to do with right-of-way issues between drones and crewed aircraft below 400 feet. And that can actually be fairly busy airspace. And without something to tell the drones that the crewed aircraft are in the vicinity, um, right of way has to go to the drones. uAvionix has a solution. It maybe didn't start out as a solution for this particular problem, but it looks like it'll work. And Christian Ramsey is here to tell us exactly what it is and how it works. And it's already got a track record, right, Christian?
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks for the introduction, Russ. So let's start with what the rule says first of all regarding right of way, because I know that's of a particular concern. Before I state the right of way stipulations, what I'll say first is that there is this rule, proposed rule, regulates beyond visual line of sight drones that are going to operate under 400 feet, right? So we are only talking up to 400 feet, and there is traffic that flies in that airspace as you mentioned, but we're not talking about aircraft flying higher than that. So these rules, as stipulated, only apply to aircraft under 400 feet. And the thing that they do, which we think is fantastic, is it does require ADS-B in on every single one of these drones. Every single drone that's flying beyond visual line of sight under Part 108 has ADS-B in. And we think that's great. It is, the most effective detect and avoid technology that we've been able to work with, and we've worked with a lot over the past several years. So what that does is as you say, Russ, it puts a burden on the manned aircraft that are flying under 400 feet to be conspicuous to the drone. And the way that the FAA has proposed to do that is either you have ADS-B out on board in a traditional way, but they also want to offer a brand new solution called electronic conspicuity. Electronic conspicuity, for lack of a better phrase, for your audience, is a portable ADS-B transmitter. It's something that doesn't meet the regulations and with respect to entering into controlled airspace or getting services from air traffic control. It's an ADS-B beacon, if you will, to sort of alert other aircraft, manned or unmanned, of your presence nearby. uAvionix, we've been working in several countries for nearly 10 years now with electronic conspicuity, and this started with the Brits. The British came up with the standard. This device is called a Sky Echo. It looks a lot like a ForeFlight Sentry. That's no coincidence because we also make the ForeFlight Sentry. And so this is essentially a transmitting version of the ForeFlight Sentry. So it is ADS-B in and out, battery powered, has an internal GPS, has an internal antennas. It suction mounts to a window or a glare shield, just like the Sentry does, and it transmits your position. In the US, this version will be on the UAT 978 megahertz frequency. And one of the best things about that is it's going to be private. So one, you don't have to pay for a full installation. Two, it uses the anonymous mode that ADS-B is allowed to use on the UAT frequency in the US, and it's private. So, and you can turn it on and off. You can put it away when you don't want to use it. If you only want to use it when you're flying down below 400 feet, you can, right? It's not like installed ADS-B where you've got to keep it on all the time.
Okay, so that will keep us out of the way of drones below 400 feet. But are there other uses for for this that you envision, um, I guess,
Yeah.
for want of a better term, legally?
Okay, so you'll be able to use this anywhere, right? Now, like I said, it won't gain you access to controlled airspace. So it doesn't mean that it's illegal to use it in controlled airspace, but you won't have the requirements to meet controlled airspace. But you can use this anywhere. And one of the bigger use cases that we envisioned are for gliders, balloons, and particularly paragliders and Part 103 operators who are flying, powered parachutes, hang gliders, things along those lines. And there's been a lot of that particular community that's reached out to us over the past several years saying, what kind of solution do you have for us? We want to be seen. We don't want to be hit. And so we think there's a lot of safety benefits from that perspective as well.
Hardly a day goes by that you don't hear about a close call with a paraglider or a wingsuiter or somebody like that, right?
That's right. Yeah, that's
Um,
right.
and gliders are another case in point. Um, this is in widespread use all over the world. Why isn't it in use in the US and Canada yet?
Yeah. So it is in use in the UK, in Australia, in New Zealand, Brazil, South Africa, countries that have adopted this. It is none of those countries have a infrastructure like we have in the US for an ADS-B ground-based network, and that's the primary reason. So the around the same time that we in the US were experiencing the push for an ADS-B mandate to install into your aircraft, we were doing this overseas. We went to the FAA back then and said, "Hey, we'd like to offer this in the U.S. as well." And the response back then was a little bit like too soon. There's too much going on. We've got to equip the fleet with compliant systems. Let's get through the hump, pass the mandate for a couple of years, and then we can discuss what other uses for ADS-B should be. So that's the main reason is just timing with associated with the mandate. And this again doesn't meet the mandate requirements. This is totally voluntary, air-to-air situational awareness and not for air traffic controls. But that's why, right? There was just a lot going on, and if you remember back to those days, there was a lot of confusion, right? Of what can I equip? Where do I go get equipped? Oh my gosh, the mandate's next year. Where do I get an appointment? So there was a lot happening in those couple of years.
So can we buy one right now?
You cannot. No, no. And that's what this rule is doing is enabling it, right? So you can't buy it because the official policy of the FAA is still not legal. But I'll put a yet on that because what they've written down in this rule is they're going to allow these types of devices. We'd love your viewers to respond to the open rule until October 6th and say, hey, regardless of what you think about right of way, we would love to see some support for a portable EC device for all of those other use cases that we talked about.
Well, it is liberally mentioned in the proposed rule.
Yeah.
The use of it's an either or thing, either legal ADS-B or a portable conspicuity
No,
device.
great.
So
Yeah.
once again, kudos to uAvionix for giving us a real neat solution to what seemed like a daunting problem. And
Yeah.
we wish you the best with it,
Thank you.
and keep us posted
We
on how
will.
that rulemaking goes through and when we'll be able to buy one of these things. So this has been
Yep.
Russ Niles reporting for AvBrief. We've been with Christian Ramsey of uAvionix, talking about the Sky Echo, which is a neat little ADS-B solution for a lot of things, including right-of-way involving drones. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks, Russ.